What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to the channel. As many of you know, the pre-episode 2 patch 1 did land this morning on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Switch will be getting this update in the future once it's gone through all the certification. However, the patch is live everywhere else. Now, this particular update was the update that was the previous PTR that was just running, so it's centered around balance, community feedback, and making some changes to the game that you all directly have asked for through those polls. Now, taking a look at it, first things first, the Siren was reworked. The Siren can now be targeted by towers. The Siren's first ability is mitigate damage to nearby enemies. The second ability, it will target players and defenses with a casted explosion. This explosion will hit your defenses, it will hit your cores, and I think it's only fair because if towers can hit Sirens, then Siren should be able to hit towers, you know what I'm saying? So the Siren is now reworked and will be able to be targeted by your defenses. The pet transmog system. This system I'm pretty excited about personally. It allows you to put the skin of any pet you want on any other pet, which is just so cool. What if there's a pet that you like the pet or what it does, but you don't like the way the pet looks? Change it up and turn it into something else. The pet transmog system is here. Now there is 4 new fusion pets added in. We've got the steam robot, we've got the little wizard, we've got the dragon, and then we've got the angry cloud. These are going to drop in Act 1, 2, 3, and 4 for each of their zones. They will be dropping on the non-Encore maps on Rifted bonus waves. Currently, they are actually dropping on the Encore maps on Rifted bonus waves. So if you do a Rifted bonus wave and you say you want a steam robot, you're going to want to head on into Magus quarters to get yourself a fusion steam robot. Now this is for the bonus waves. They are dropping as intended from the regular wave 25 chest. However, the good ones are going to be from the bonus waves. Defense range decals were changed, as you see in this image here. No longer so much of an eye bleeder. Now it is going to give you kind of the shadow of the decal being laid down. Enemy elemental resistances were changed. So previously, if an enemy came up with that little fire logo next to their head, that enemy was immune to fire damage. This has been changed, and now instead of having 100% immunity, it's only 75% immunity. So if you get yourself in a position where you don't have the correct elements versus the enemy you're facing, you're still going to be able to do damage to it, but it is going to be greatly reduced. Item culling changes. What this affects is items that are on the ground. Previously, there was up to 40 items on the ground. If another item dropped, the lowest item power item would disappear and the new item would remain. Now, this caused some problems as different item powers work differently between, say, weapons, armor, or accessories, and it would make items that you wanted to keep just be culled and disappear off the map. This has been changed now, so it's in individual brackets where each item type. So there's going to be 20 pieces of armor, 10 weapons, 10 offhands that can drop on the ground. Pets and accessories will not be culled away at all, so pets and accessories will always be there and won't disappear on you as more items drop. Rifted enemies drop fusion gear now. It's actually quite a bit. On my live stream today, I got a ton of fusion gear. Remember that the best fusion gear available is still going to come from the victory chest on those bonus waves. However, fusion gear will be dropping from fusion enemies quite regularly. It is a rare drop, however, you will see it a lot. Centered perspective camera option. This was an addition that was brought in after Dungeon Defenders going rogue, as people really requested it, and people like to have a more centered camera versus that older over-the-shoulder camera view. Smart upgrade and repair. Now, smart upgrade and repair has come a really super long way. Automatically, it will target a specific defense. If you're going through a stack of auras or a stack of traps, it's going to toggle through each of those, and you're going to be able to upgrade those more clearly. A little tip what I would suggest is make sure you don't have a defense targeted. So if you've got, say, a stack of R's and traps, you're going to want to target like next to those into a blank area and start spamming your upgrade to be able to cycle through them. If you have one individual trap or R targeted, then that particular one is going to get all of those upgrades. Balance in general. First off, Irradiate can no longer activate on target dummies. Now, it does still work on enemies. So don't think you got nerfed, because you didn't get nerfed. What happened is Irradiate is just not registering on the target dummy, where it was giving you completely blown out numbers before, because remember, Irradiate's damage amount is based off of the health of the enemy you're fighting. Of course, target dummies have a ton of health, so it was giving you a big blown out figure on Irradiate, which was not accurate compared to what is actually happening in game. So you're going to be able to get a truer look at what your DPS is. Of course, Irradiate will then be on top of that, and it's still a pretty significant amount of damage. Squire Blockade's got a health increase. Slice and Dice has got a health increase as well, and they got a damage buff. The Harpoon turret got a damage buff, but more importantly, the projectile can no longer be destroyed by map geometry. Now, that doesn't mean it shoots through walls, but if the Harpoon turret can target an enemy, that projectile will make it to the enemy. So no longer getting your harpoons stuck in stairs or on rails. They will travel through and make it to the enemy. The Bouncer Blockade got a health increase and a DU reduction, and then the Bowling Ball turret got a straight damage increase. For the Apprentice, same thing there. The Elemental Barrier got a damage increase. If you like spamming those magic missiles, they are even better right now, as they got a little bit of a buff. And the Lightning Tower. The Lightning Tower got a bit of a buff as well. Traps are now closer to being in a really good place than they have ever been. They got a damage increase on the Explosive Trap, a range increase, and an attack rate increase. The Inferno Traps got a damage increase and an attack rate increase, or actually the effect rate of the dot that's applied. The Thunder Spike Trap got a damage increase, got a rate increase, but additionally, the Thunder Spike can now be overlapped outside of a small radius. Now, you're not going to be able to stack them right on top of each other, but you are going to be able to overlap the radius of Thunder Spike Traps, and this is a single target defense, remember. So if you're using Thunder Spikes, you want to have multiples pounding into that ogre or whatever is there. The EV's blocking field got a buff. Health was directly increased. The Warden Roots of Purity health is directly increased. Now the Shroomie Pit is now the Shroomie Geyser. It no longer runs across the ground and now will launch the shrooms through the air. Actually quite gratifying. Now, one thing to remember about the Shroomie Pit, this is not a defense you want to spam, as it is a fodder targeting defense. Meaning that if you've got an ogre there and you've got, say, a goblin there, the Shroomie Pit or Shroomie Geyser is going to target that goblin. Now, the mushroom does explode, so it's still going to do AoE damage to everything else in the area. Quite fun to play with, but you're going to want to mix this in with some single target defenses as well, and not try to just spam the Shroomie Geyser. For quality of life, the Warden Sprout was changed to a projectile. This is a very nice change. The defense range indicators, as I mentioned earlier, was changed, and that looks quite nice. The Sell All button is here. I mean, just good stuff. Sell all for the win. Force Ready Up on the Escape UI for consoles. So on consoles, you're now going to be able to force Ready Up. You don't have to sit there and wait for everyone in your group to ready up. If you're the host, you can ready it up and get your waves started. Transmog items that can no longer be obtained will now be hidden on the Transmog UI. So no teases, basically. If you can't get it, it's not going to be listed there. So you won't be getting teased with something you're not able to acquire. Updated item effect descriptions and updated stabilities item effect description. Stability, of course, reduces knockback from enemy attacks. It now shows that properly to alleviate some of the confusion there. Miscellaneous entitlement items like the Juicy Fruit Pet, for example, are no longer an item in your inventory, and it's now a transmog item. There was also a list of bug fixes that came along with it. Now, a link to the patch notes will be down in the description below if you want to read through them all. And then remember, part 2 of the pre-episode 2 patches is going on to PTR testing this Friday, meaning this Friday we're going to be able to get the changes to attack rates. We're going to be able to get the endless survival. It's going to be lots of fun. So make sure you swing on by on Friday, as I'm going to be definitely playing some DDA on that PTR all day long. And as always, if you have any questions, don't forget to leave me a comment down below. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.